The Oxagon project is an industrial city which wants to have the title as the biggest floating structure in the world. It is in the NEOM region in northwestern Saudi Arabia, and it's quite close to the line. The primary advantage of the Oxagon is that it's close to the Suez Canal, so it takes advantage of the worldwide ship traffic. So we're talking industrial scale shipments that are happening there. And it tries to position itself as an industrial hub like the world hasn't seen before. It looks pretty impressive, except a couple of things that don't make so much sense. One phase of the project aims to be completed by 2030, while the floating part is yet to be determined. It aims to be the best organized industrial seaport, on top of having a lot of space for industry. So you can imagine lots of industries on an industrial scale being positioned there. They're clearly aiming at high-tech and innovative solutions like sustainability. I imagine chip manufacturing, anything that requires high precision and robots. This looks like a very business-friendly investment into the future, and I think it makes sense. And compared to the line, it seems something that will definitely be achieved, and it is important for Saudi Arabia to diversify from its oil-strong revenues. So this project will probably happen. But does it need to happen where it is at the moment? Or would this be better suited next to Jeddah, which is also next to the same shipment route, and expand the seaport there? What's the difference between putting it somewhere where there's nothing and somewhere where there is an existing town? The innovative companies that Saudi Arabia wants to attract to the Oxagon have world-class leading workforces, and those people would likely want to be in a world-class city. It's one thing to be stuck basically living in a seaport, as nice as you make it. Essentially, that's what it looks like at the moment. I'm sure we'll have a nice enclosed area, but that one house more than 50, maybe 1,000 people. It reminds me of a place I used to pass as a child very often, and that is the Newark port, right next to Newark Airport. And it's this massive, barren area that I can only see from the bridges and motorways passing through it between New Jersey and New York. Does anybody want to live in that area? Probably not. Would there be a New York next to it? Maybe, if the line happens. But if the line doesn't happen, how is the Oxagon project going to serve the rest of Saudi Arabia? Again, we're talking about the massive infrastructure and shipment project. Looks like probably the biggest port of Saudi Arabia. What is it going to bring in, and what is it taking out? The stuff that comes in, where is it getting shipped? We're talking industrial scales. It would likely want to get shipped to the biggest hubs in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh and Jeddah. And the line. Even with all the kafala system controversies in the Middle East in regards to workers' rights, the ambitions are phenomenal. The fact that they're investing money for securing the country's future is phenomenal. Remember, Saudi Arabia could be Venezuela, where the oil reserves serve the purposes only of this royal family and a little bit beyond that. Instead of that, they're actively looking to diversify into the future and make the country attractive with the money that they currently have. That's fascinating. Now imagine if every country looked at a similar situation where they took the investment from oil revenues and from gas revenue and actually invested a lot of that money for diversifying the economy for the next century instead of siphoning off of it and enriching the ruling class. Of course, in Saudi Arabia, that happens a lot. We all know that the prince and all the princes, they live very luxurious lives, but beyond that, it is absolutely incredible that they're willing to invest in so many projects. And at the moment, for Vision 2030, there are a lot of other projects happening on a massive scale. So this is just one of them, but it's definitely one of the more ambitious ones. I just want to reiterate how important NEOM the line is within any other very, very ambitious project in Saudi Arabia. Basically, having an absurd of a project as the line, which is a 170-kilometer long skyscraper, makes any other project, which is very ambitious, quite crazy and out there, seem all of a sudden super real and super down to earth. Here, Oxagon is the largest floating city in the world. No problem. All of a sudden, this seems like the most buildable city in the world compared to the line. So very clever marketing trick again, and an excellent way to justify everything else that's going on in Saudi Arabia, which is quite a lot. In regards to architecture, we can't really judge this project too much because it's still very much in a master plan level. It looks more oriented towards industry than for a city to live in. It would have to have a small part of the city to house all the workers that live there, but beyond that, it looks like an industrial heartland. Probably the dreams of all industrialists in the world that wish to have easy facilities for shipment coming in, going out, and next to them huge world-class robotic labs and assembly lines with the firms that come associated with these kinds of companies. And having access to all that, that's pretty innovative. It remains to be seen how they will connect this to the major transportation centers, so a lot of the shipments from there are not only isolated into it, but spread to the rest of Saudi Arabia. What do you think about this project? Do you see this something useful to aid Saudi Arabia and the rest of the world, or do you see it as another marketing scheme by the team? Thank you for watching, and consider subscribing to the channel if you like videos like these about architecture, and see you next time.